Welcome to Week 8 of English in the Modern Office, Part 2 of the meetings session. In this section, we'll be discussing 3 learning goals. Firstly, what to do when you're unsure of agreements in meetings. Secondly, making deals in meetings when you form agreements. And thirdly, wrapping up meetings, how we close the meeting at the end of the day. Before we go through the lesson, let's just focus for a minute on the first part of the section, agreements in meetings. How do we agree? Are there different ways? If you're the host of a meeting, always remember to listen to the opinions, statements, and suggestions from everybody. Since we don't want a dictatorship, it's always best to get some feedback from them. Bringing to the table our strengths and weaknesses can help everyone to know how best to improve work efficiency, how to work together in order to achieve better results, and by doing so, improve the contribution of every participant. Any participant might come up with a suggestion or opinion that could benefit the workplace. But what do we do if some people choose to stay silent or don't wish to speak? How would we draw them out? What if you was a silent person and you don't have anything to say? Or you feel you're quite confused about a specific topic? This lesson will discuss the phrases and the tactful ways on how to deal with these situations. Occasionally, we'll be giving our opinion in meetings. Knowing how to politely state your opinion with a phrase like, I think, or I believe, or I feel, is polite and beneficial. Sometimes we might disagree with the opinions or the suggestions of someone else, but we'd like to do so without a war breaking out. How do we do that? This section will teach you how to soften any negative impact your words might have while staying on the good side with the person you disagreed with. What are the best strategies to make deals in meetings? How do we negotiate with other companies? Making deals is a skill. Knowing how to master them can produce desirable results. Once you know how to use this deal-making technique, it can greatly advance your career prospects. It will also help you to gain confidence. Other people will have confidence in your workability, as well as wanting to work with you in building positive relationships with other people. And finally, after a long and difficult meeting, how can we best wrap things up? If we're the chairperson of a meeting, how should we dismiss everyone? Do we say, what are you guys still doing here? Go, get out of here. That's not the smartest way and the smartest idea, especially if you're the head of the meeting. You might as well dismiss yourself from the office. Wrapping up a meeting is not only about understanding how to dismiss everyone skillfully. You should know what to do when bringing the meeting to an end, about going over the major points of the meeting, and more importantly, the agreements made. You might also mention what decisions have been postponed until the next meeting. We'll be reading more about this when we cover the end of meeting in a positive note in the coming lesson. So here are the 3 learning goals for this section of meetings, Lesson 2. Dealing with agreements, making deals, and wrapping up a meeting. Once you have the knowledge of how to manage a meeting productively, you'll be able to employ these methods and tips into your meeting to ensure that it can run smoothly. Everyone has struggled to stay awake during a meeting, especially if the meetings seem to drag on and on. As a chairperson, as long as you follow the agenda, invite all participants to speak, you can preside over a successful meeting that makes everyone feel that their time is valued. One final point. Towards the end of the meeting is to include a section for any other business. This gives everyone the chance to bring up a point or action that wasn't on the agenda, but is important. In such an event, the chairperson would either decide to discuss there and then if it was important, or, more likely, promise to include the item on the next meeting agenda. Now, let's end this introduction and get on with Week 8's Meetings Part 2 lesson.